Hi and welcome back to my GOS Challenge mini-series. I'm going to break down each day of the week to give you a detailed look at my meal prep, recipes and what I ate before and during my GOS Challenge. I hope you find it really helpful. Let's get into the video. So I started my weekly food prep on Saturday by soaking 1 cup of quinoa in 3 cups of filtered water overnight. There are lots of arguments for and against soaking quinoa, so feel free to skip this step if you prefer. If you do decide to soak your grains or nuts, always use filtered water, and for convenience and easy storage, I use glass jars with well-fitting lids. Several times during the soaking, just as and when I remember, I'll give the jar a good shake. As with grains, I prefer nuts and especially almonds to be soaked overnight. Up to 10 almonds is an acceptable green light portion, and soaking not only improves the overall texture but also makes them much easier to digest. On Sunday I use the soaked quinoa to make a big batch of basic cooked quinoa, which I'll use in a variety of recipes throughout the week. You can clearly see here all the saponins that have leached out of the quinoa and that the grains have practically doubled in size. This needs to be drained and rinsed really thoroughly under fresh running water until the bubbles stop forming on the surface of the quinoa and the water runs clear instead of milky. I rinse out the jar several times to get all of the quinoa out before rinsing it under the cold tap for a few more minutes. I usually dry toast my quinoa before rinsing to bring out the rich nutty flavour, but I completely forgot, so I attempted to toast it once it was rinsed, which didn't work as well. I'll also drain and rinse the almonds and pop them back into the jar ready to use the next day. You can really see how plump and hydrated they become after soaking, which gives them a subtle creamy texture. At this point, some people prefer to peel them, but I don't mind them either way. To make Carrie's perfect quinoa recipe, which you can find featured in the Wild Gut Project members site, I use 2 cups of soaked quinoa to 4 cups of filtered water. Add the rind of 1 lemon, reserving the juice to use in another recipe. A pinch of turmeric, coriander seed, black pepper and salt right at the end to taste. For the basic ratatouille, I use FODMAP friendly portions of bell pepper, carrot and courgette. Fry the veggies in garlic oil for 10 minutes, then add smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, passata, salt and pepper, and simmer on medium heat for 20 minutes, stirring occasionally. This made 4 portions, 3 of which I use in different recipes through the week. If you know how many servings you want, just multiply the ingredients by the number of portions. If you've seen my family FODMAPs video, you'll know that I tend to make a base main meal, then separate it out to add in low and high FODMAP options to suit the whole family. To my portions I added olives and spring onion greens. Combine the whole lot together and simmer for a further 5 to 10 minutes until well mingled. For the raita dressing I added 1 teaspoon of dried mint, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast and about 4 tablespoons of coconut yogurt to chopped cucumber. Once it's all combined, add salt and pepper to taste. Monday was a pre-challenge day, so I kept everything weighed, measured and portioned to within low FODMAP limits. These Shah gluten-free panini rolls feature in the Monash app. You can have a decent sized portion and they're surprisingly good. For breakfast I went with one of my favourite comfort recipes, banana and peanut butter on gluten-free toast. I used 1/3 of a banana and saved the rest in a vented tub to use over the next few days. It's surprising how far 1/3 of a banana goes if you slice it thinly enough. It's more than enough to cover both halves of this panini roll, and I often pop it back under the grill to warm the banana before serving. For dinner, or lunch as most of you may know it, I combined 1 cup of basic quinoa with 1 portion of ratatouille and heated it together for about 5 minutes. You can eat it hot or cold, and if you need to, you can combine it the night before, ready to take on the go. I serve mine with a yoghurt raita and chopped soaked almonds. If you're taking yours to work, I'd keep the toppings separate and add them just before you eat. This protein-packed dish is rich, creamy and keeps you satisfied for hours. For tea, I kept things simple with lemon and kale pesto and gluten-free spaghetti. I chose this pesto recipe because it's easy to make in a big batch, the flavour improves with time, and I knew it would make a good base to add my GOS challenge food to later in the week. I filmed a detailed version of this recipe for my Instagram stories, which you can still see in my highlights. So rather than refilm the whole thing for this video, I've just popped in some phone footage. Dry toasting the kale and sunflower seeds is not optional and gives so much flavour to the finished pesto. I used about 8 cups of shredded kale, 2 cups of fresh basil, 2 tablespoons of garlic oil, the zest and juice of 1 lemon, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 3 tablespoons of sunflower seeds, half a teaspoon of freshly ground coriander seed and salt and pepper to taste. Once you've dry toasted the sunflower seeds, kale, lemon zest and coriander seeds, blend all the ingredients together until the pesto is formed. Once it's all processed together, this makes about 3 half-cup size portions and lasts up to 5 days in a sealed jar in the fridge. Over the coming videos in this mini-series, you'll see how I use this one simple recipe in a variety of ways. It's great on pasta, quinoa, rice and new potatoes. I really hope you've enjoyed this What I Ate in a Day. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to see the rest of the GOS challenge videos as and when they're released. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.